Hi Bestie, we are back at it again. It has been a while since we picked up this series, but this is going to become a sort of like a monthly thing. I know that there are die-hard budget Bestie people and they love me to take a look at other people's budgets, but we need to make room for other stuff. And while this is super fun to do, we are doing this once a month. So enjoy this one, Bestie, because we're not going to do one for another 4 weeks. Budget Besties is a series where people anonymously submit their budgets to me. I take a look at them and see what I might do if I was in their situation. Bestie, this is not financial advice. However, sometimes my insight can help people make informed decisions based off of their own circumstances. I can't fully know what's going on, and in today's scenario, this one's got so many variables. I don't really know what's going on, and it is alarming in some areas, but Bestie, we're here to take a look at it, so let's get going. Every budget Bestie submits a form to me. So in this person's form, it says, I mean, there isn't like a massive amount of information in here. So basically they say that they have multiple debts which seem to be taking out most of their income. Their income varies between £800 to £1,200 per month. So I don't know whether that is because they're self-employed, or I don't know what it is that makes their income vary quite so drastically. Their main financial goal is to save to pay annual insurance rather than extra monthly costs, to become debt-free and save a good portion of money to move out and live on their own. This would most likely include a buffer due to unpredictable pay. So I'm not sure what they do that makes their pay so unpredictable, but let's sort of take a look at it. We've got outgoings here, and we've also got like a fair bit of debt, and the debt does look really scary. So we're going to look at their financial goals. Their main sort of idea is to pay annual insurance and then to become debt free. I would say that it probably should be the other way around, but you know. So Besties, today we are here with the Paycheck Bill Tracker. This is in the Till With It design. She's absolutely stunning, and you can get loads of different designs of these, or you can just get the standard rainbow one. But we're using Till With It today because she's an absolute beaut. I've got my paper mate Flair, and let's go ahead and get this budget sort of sorted. So starting off with income, they say that their income varies from 800 to 1,200. So I think the most reasonable thing to do is to sort of go in the medium, in the middle. So we're going to say that their income is 1,000 per month. Now it makes me scared for months where they have £800 per month, but I have run their budget multiple times and I can't make it work on 800, and you're going to see why in a sec. Let's just assume that every month is about 1,000 based off of their sort of averages. First of all, they have board because they live with their parents. So board is £80 per week. So that's £320 in a 4-week month. Then they do Slimming World. So I'll just put Slimming SW for Slimming World. That's £5.95 per week. So that actually comes up to £23.80. Then they give their nephew pocket money. So I'm going to pocket money. So their nephew gets pocket money. That's £5 a week. So that comes up to £20. Then they do vapes, which is £20 per week. And that's a lot of money for vapes. That's £80. And then they have Monzo. So Monzo here is £5. So they're either paying for a subscription for Monzo Plus, which means they can spend out of pots, or they're paying for Monzo Business. Just the generic standard Monzo account is actually free, so we will talk about that in a sec. Then they have their phone bill, which is for their mobile phone. So phone is £35, which seems pretty reasonable, to be honest. And then they have car insurance. So car insurance is £150, which is absolutely wild. I've never seen car insurance that high. Either you are a very young driver, or you're a very young driver and you've had accidents or something like that, but I would definitely take a look at that because that looks excessive. That looks like a lot of money. All of this at the bottom, their bills come up to £633.80, which from £1,000, bear in mind, leaves them with £366.20. So we're not left with much, right? When we talk about envelopes, they have two that they talk about. So first off is takeout. So they like to have a takeaway every week, which is £30. That's £120 there. And then travel. So I'm assuming this is petrol and things like that for their car. £25 per week, which is 100. So that comes up to 220, which leaves them with 146.20. Now, sinking funds, they want to save up for their annual road tax. So put an road tax They haven't saved, well, they saved up £100 so far, right? Annual road tax is £35, but they're not currently budgeting for that. And they want to save up for MOT. MOTs are about 120 quid. So they should really be doing like tenner a week, but they're not doing anything at the moment. So in terms of sinking funds, we're at 0. So they've still got 146.20. So let's move over to the debt. So their debt minimums, altogether come up to 315. That's just minimums. That's nothing else. That is minimums only, right? That comes up to 315. So when you take £315 from 146.20, you're left with minus 168.80. That's what they've got left. So their buffer is minus 168.80. So they have a variable income. They could earn as little as 800. So if they earn £200 less than this, they are 368.80 in the negative on a month. But then there's some months where they earn 1,200. They'd be adding to their buffer £40. They are never gonna get ahead if they do it like this. So we are here to call for drastic action with this pale orange pen. So we can't really do anything about their income. I don't know the circumstances, but we will talk about that at the end. So we need to make some cuts and we need to start in the bill. So Slim & World has to go. It just has to go. It's $23.80, and you can find a lot of resources and help free online for losing weight or having a more healthy lifestyle or whatever. It may be like a lifeline, but you can join forums and communities and things like that where you're all going towards the same goal. You don't need to meet up every single week, in my opinion. It might be different for you. It might be a non-negotiable thing for you, but I would cut that immediately. Pocket money, I just wouldn't do it. And I know it feels harsh, but you need to save yourself before other people. Vapes, you do not need to be spending £80. Cut that to 20 immediately. Monzo, cut that. So if you've got a Monzo account where you're paying extra, you ain't going to be using it. So downgrade to the normal Monzo account. If it's for your business, you should be forming part of a business cost, right? I don't know the detail, but I would definitely be looking at car insurance just to see if there's a way I can get that cheaper, because that seems absolutely excessive. So this comes up to 505 already. So we've spent half of what we have, but we've cut a lot of fat away from the bills, and we're lucky that we're young and we live with our parents, because you know, it could be worse. We're left with 495 now. So first thing that would go is take out, it looks like because you're living with your parents, all your meals are taken care of. Just get rid of takeout, because Bestie, you can't afford one per week. You can barely afford one a month. So I would get rid of that. Travel is what it is, but I would introduce spending so you can still get yourself treats. So we're not doing much in this section, but I do £15 per week for that, which is 60. So that comes to 160 in terms of that. Leaves you with 335. Now, road tax for you is £35. So if you do a £5 per month, you will have £35 every year. And for MOT, about 120, so let's say £10. I would like for you to do things for emergency. I really would, but we are not in that position to do that at the moment. So to achieve your goals of having those, it's 15 quid. That means that we've got £320 left over so that you can actually meet your minimums, which leaves you with a £5 buffer in months where you earn £1,000. Let's talk about months where you earn more than £1,000. So let's talk about a £1,200 month, because I feel like those are the only months where you're going to be able to tackle your debt. So let's take a look at a debt repayment plan here. So we've got a couple of debts. So first one is credit card 1, which is 1,260, and the minimums on that is 0. We've got loan 3, which is 1,318, and the minimums are 55. Loan 2, I'm putting it out of order, just not on purpose, but for the sake of a debt snowball. 1,500, minimums are 35. Then we've got a student loan, which is £4,000, and the minimums are 10. And then we've got loan 1, and the minimums are the amount we owe is 5,916, and the minimum is 200. We've also got an overdraft, which is like less scary because there's not as much interest. So overdraft is 500, and we get about a £15 charge every month on that. So I've included that in. So let's start. So in a month where we earn £200 more than what we technically need to survive based off of the budget that I've done, right? We'll have an extra £200. So 0 plus 200 equals 200. So we can start tackling credit card 1, right? If we chuck £200 in every month, it's going to be 6.5 months. I know that this isn't going to be 6.5 months because you're not earning £1,200 every single month, right? So because of that, this will take longer, but based off of the fact that you might earn £1,200 every month, in months where you earn £1,000 or less, you're not going to be able to make any overpayments, right? So this is just based off of earning £1,200 every month. Then when we have finished paying it off in 6.5 months time, we add the 200 to 55. So 200 is 255. And when we throw that out at 1318, we have that gone in 5.5 months. And then when we add the 255 to the 35 that you're paying towards loan 2, that means you're paying 290. When you chuck that at the £1,500, you'll have that gone in 5 months. And then when we add the 290 to the 10 that we're paying towards our student loan every month, that's 300. So to pay off that 4 grand, that's going to take 13 months. So a little over a year, right? But when that's gone, we've got 290 to chuck at, no, we've got £300 plus the £200 from the loan. That's £500, which means that's gone in 12 months. So when we've got that £500, we can literally just throw that at the overdraft. So this is debt-free in 43 months, which sounds like a long time. It is. It's 3.5 years. So what would I do to make sure that I could afford that every week? So let's turn this back around. So there's a couple things that you could do to make sure that you're able to overpay by at least £200 every month. Now, the first thing that I would do is I would potentially talk to my parents. Do they know how much debt you're in? It's just a burden to your life. And yes, I know we're in a situation, your parents tend to be the most sympathetic people. So the fact that you're paying 320, I mean, it's not a lot of money, but if you were able to reduce that even by £100, just to take it down to 250, that would make the biggest difference to you. They tend to be more sympathetic, but we might live in a scenario where they're actually dependent on that money. So if they are, we can't go down that avenue, right? The next thing we need to do is look at income, because £1,000 per month for someone who's trying to get out of debt, yes, it will happen, but it won't happen based off of your outgoing. So you need to earn more. So you need to be in a situation where you're guaranteeing the £1,200 at least every single month. So can we do a little side hustle? So if we did a side hustle, so potentially I don't know what the whole scenario is. So are you only earning that because you have your small business and you're putting every sort of waking moment that you've got into that so that you can make it work? If that's a scenario, you might need to pick up something part-time just to sort of help you get there. Are you signed off medically and seeking assistance from the government? If so, you could be earning more than that and just get a little bit more support from the government. I don't know what the scenario is, Bestie. In order to make your dreams a reality, you just need to introduce more income or get rid of your debt, right? So if you had a side hustle and you wanted to afford your Slimming World, your pocket money, your vapes, your Monzo, everything that we've got on here, you'd need to introduce an extra $248.80 per month, right? When the minimum wage, the minimum wage is $11.44, or at least it's going to be. That's an additional 21 hours per week, like at a supermarket or something. So I don't know how many hours you're working a week to get this income, but that's probably where I get down to. Now let's talk about your goals. Paying your annual insurance rather than extra costs is like a good one, but getting rid of that debt, Bestie, that is absolutely paramount. Can you imagine how different your life would be if £315 per month becomes available? Honestly, Bestie, this is one of the most tricky budgets I've ever done. And I know I've left out things like emergency, but we just don't have a lot of money to work with, like here, honestly, Bestie. I really try to make sure that all the episodes of this Budget Bestie series end on a positive note. And this one kind of does have a positive note. This budget can work, it can be made, but there needs to be significant sacrifice for a prolonged period. And that is a tough position to be in. This person seems like they're a young person, they're living at home, and it just seems like everything is working against them to make it tough. Like if they overspent by like anything, if they made any sort of mistakes, if they got a parking ticket, if they made a mistake on the road, anything like that, that could send them into an absolute spiral. So I really hope that they have those tough conversations with their parents about where they are financially and what they need to do to get themselves out of it. Because if their parents released the sort of chokehold they have on the board, it would be an incredible thing for them. They might not be in that situation, so they do need to look at additional sources of income to make it happen. I truly wish them the best of luck, because there's a lot working against them, but with a really firm grasp on their budget and an absolute tenacity to earn as much as they can and pay off as much debt as quickly as they possibly can, they can make this happen, bestie. Have you considered becoming a channel member or a patron? Patrons get exclusive content, sneak peeks, and significant discounts off my Etsy store. Channel members get early access to every single video. In fact, they've seen this video long before you have, bestie. If you like the sound of those perks and you like the sound of me, have a look at the links in the description. You will not regret it, bestie. That's all we have for this budget bestie this month, but until the next one, I would like you to have a wonderful day, have a wonderful week, and have a wonderful budget. Always remember, don't trust Ira. And bestie, I'm going to leave you with the budget bestie playlist. Here she is. She is chock full of just wonderful things. Lots of good videos, bestie, is what I'd say. So check these out. We've got loads of different scenarios.